Today I'm going to show you guys how to implement the HC1 in a 500 series rack. I went over HC1 before in a previous video. I'll link to that so you can check it out, and I'll try not to repeat myself too much here, but for those who don't know, the HC1 is a headphone amplifier from DIY recording equipment that you build yourself. This implementation takes the HC1 to the next level. Let me preface this by just saying that I stand by my statement in the original video that it's really good, really detailed headphone amp. With that, I will say that it could be better from a noise perspective. That is a bit of a nitpicky statement. Audio engineers and audiophiles, it's kind of the way we are, right? You don't really perceive noise until you're well above sane listening levels. However, once you get around noon and higher on the potentiometer, you do definitely start to notice some noise in the circuit. That, as I suspected, is due to the cheaper single rail power supply that I used originally. And I tried a few of these. There was really no difference between any of them. I looked into some more high-end power supplies and it's just cost prohibitive. Then I realized I could probably hook this thing up to my 500 series rack. So I started looking into how to connect this thing, which there's quite a few things to figure out. It's not that straightforward. Card edge connector. What is a card edge connector? That's what plugs into the 500 series rack. DIY recording equipment has these extender kits. It's not 100% straightforward how to hook it up, but you just test for continuity and you can figure out which terminal is on what pad here. You can see mine. This is what it looks like if you use the DIY recording equipment extender card thing. So I'll walk you guys through this step by step. The first kind of tricky thing about the 500 series is you have two audio contacts, which are input and output. Those are labeled that way because that's typically how the 500 series is used with a mono device. Those are only input and output in that context. Really, they're just audio connections, and where the audio signal goes is dependent on the circuit. So you can repurpose quote unquote output to be one of the two stereo inputs. So you just have to designate which one you want to use for left and which one you want to use for right. The other thing that might be a little bit confusing is multiple contacts on the internal connection are audio. And some of those are just redundant. Just use the +4 audio contacts. Those are going to be your left and right inputs. Now, what's really tricky is the power. You have 3 contacts on the 500 series rack, whereas you only have 2 contacts on the HC1. It's designed to only use one power rail, but the op amps in the circuit still operate on 2 rails. Virtual ground sort of tricks the circuit into using one power rail from one of these as though it's 2 rails, which is good in order to make things cheap and accessible and easy to hook up, but there is a little bit of a compromise with the noise. The way around this, you can bypass virtual ground by removing the resistors R1 and R2 from the circuit, or when you're building the circuit, just leave R1 and R2 out. And then you connect the +16 terminal on the 500 series rack to the DC input labeled plus on the HC1. You connect the -16 volt terminal from the rack to the other DC in on the HC1. And then you actually connect the power ground to the audio ground. That's pretty much everything as far as how to hook it up. So now you can go to town and get yours going. If you already have a rack, all you have to do is get a card edge connector and a faceplate. This is definitely the cheapest way to do this. For around $50, you have what is among the best implementations for the HC1. Honestly guys, in any state, I can't stress enough how good this headphone amp is. You just gotta try it. You're not gonna do any better for the price. So that's all I got for you today. Thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, check the link in my bio. Peace.